news that is really flashing at the bottom of your screen right now. Anil Kumble will step down as, in fact, has stepped down as the coach of Indian team. That's the big breaking news that is coming right now, that Anil Kumble has stepped down as the coach of the Indian cricketing team. Ritanshu, my colleague, joins us more on the phone line. Ritanshu, this really was very much expected, given the fact that a couple of hours back we got the information that Anil Kumble will not be flying with the team to West Indies. This was really very much unexpected lines, wasn't it?
Yes, indeed, Gauri. NewsX had broken it first 2 hours back that there was something amiss in the Team India camp, because Anil Kumble, despite having a confirmed flight ticket, did not board the flight from England to West Indies for India's tour of the Caribbean. Now, based on that, we had speculated that perhaps something was amiss, and which is why perhaps we understood that there was sort of talks which was going on between Anil Kumble and the BCCI. Now we understand reports coming in, and I stress on the fact reports, that Anil Kumble has decided to put in his papers, and he has decided to step down as coach of the men in blue. And that is why that is what a report coming in right now, which means, if true, this is something that is going to be a big moment of crisis for Team India, because it essentially indicates that there was a rift between Virat Kohli and Anil Kumble to begin with.
In fact, Ritanshu, I was coming to that itself, that clearly that rift is now very much in open. Whatever little patch-up that really happened now is a thing of past. As of now, the rift between Virat Kohli, the captain, and Anil Kumble is very much in the open. What happens next going forward for the team?
Well, Gauri, I'd just like to confirm to our viewers, we've just got breaking information that yes, it is confirmed. Anil Kumble has stepped down as the coach of Team India, which means that now the men in blue are once again without an official coach. Now, what that means is quite significant here. Was it because Anil Kumble took responsibility for Team India's performance in the final of the Champions Trophy? Was it because he felt that he was at the receiving end of an unfortunate witch hunt? Was it because he was not getting along with Virat Kohli? Was it because he was not getting the support he wanted from the BCCI management? There are several questions which are now emerging here, but the fact still remains at this point is that was successful for Team India. The Champions Trophy final notwithstanding, has now stepped down. So clearly something was wrong, despite the fact that in paper, on the field, it seemed all was well and everything was hunky-dory. But for some reason, the winning combination has now been halted here. Why that has happened, and is that really in the best interest of Team India, is what remains to be seen.
Absolutely, Ritanshu. That is something that really remains to be seen, as to whether or not this split really between the coach and the captain is in the best interest of Team India or not. But stay with us. The other question I really wanted to ask you was that, in terms of the selection, the captain selection process that was going on for some time, the skipper made it really clear that his relationship with the coach reached a dead end. There was a lot of speculation that this was expected. Again, coming back to the point that there is a lot of uncertainty as to what happens next. But as far as the selection process is concerned, do you see that gaining ground and expediting going forward?
Well, first of all, we are yet to await an official response from the BCCI as to why Anil Kumble has decided to step down. It remains to be seen whether the BCCI will be entirely honest in its statement as well. But the fact still remains the BCCI has yet to confirm from its own end that Anil Kumble indeed has decided to not continue with the sport, with the team anymore. Now, that being said, obviously it depends. If the BCCI wanted Anil Kumble to continue, yet Anil decided to go because perhaps he was not happy with the way the team was behaving with him. That puts the BCCI in a pickle, because it now has to go to plan B. But if it was the BCCI, Gauri, which nudged Anil Kumble out for whatever reason, that means the BCCI has a candidate in mind as to who they want to succeed Anil Kumble. So it remains to be, it all hinges essentially on the answer to the question as to how the BCCI reacts to it, whether it gives an official statement, and what reason it ascribes to Anil Kumble abruptly stepping down as Team India coach.
Right, Ritanshu, stay with us. Let me now go across to Anshuman Gaikwad on this Big breaking story. Mr. Gaikwad, Anil Kumble has finally stepped down as the coach of the Indian team. My question to you is, what kind of a message does this really send out? Because, you know, the rift was very much known. It became a public rift between the coach and the skipper. And now you have the coach finally exiting, calling it quits. What kind of a message does this really send out?
Well, I did talk in the afternoon, and you know, we discussed about the same thing, that he had agreed to go and join the team in West Indies after the ICC meeting. Well, I don't know about this development now. What you're talking about, I don't know whether you were there on the show, but it's very unfortunate. I don't know what has conspired between Anil, BCCI, and the team management.
Right. Mr. Gaikwad, stay with us. We also have Himanshu Chaturvedi, sports journalist, joining us on this big story. Mr. Chaturvedi, my question to you really is that, you know, what happens next as far as Indian cricket is concerned? There was a lot of talk about the rift. There was also a lot of talk about how the style of Anil Kumble was not going down well with some of the senior players. They were more comfortable with Ravi Shastri's style of working. Anil Kumble's no-nonsense kind of a style of functioning is something that was not, it did not go down well with the senior players. What kind of a message do you think it sends out, and what really happens going forward as far as Indian cricket is concerned?
There are 2 points I would like everyone to take note of. That the minute Anil Kumble was made the coach of the Indian team, I was surprised why it was for 1 year. I did question it number of times. It looked like that I was talking off the roof, but you know, I had my apprehension that this 1 year is with an intent. Some testing, something has been done. Another very important point is no Indian coach, you know, would really go all out and work hard with the team, and especially when you have these 3 big wigs sitting there for selection. I'm quite surprised with the 3 kind of people, Sachin, Ganguly, Vijay Lakshman, sitting there. You know, it is so unceremoniously Kumble has been. I mean, he's such a fine gentleman. He's been a great cricketer. He's shown the path to everybody. The way he even had such a huge injury on himself, walking in. He's such a good role model to show it. And that kind of a man, even if he had to be pulled out, even if he didn't ask to step out, at least the dignity of the man should have been protected. I mean, he's been humiliated. He's been asked to quit in such a way that it looks like that he was at the whims and fancies of certain people. Now, that's not something which treatment you give it to a man who dedicated all his life as a player and now is a coach.
Right.
And what wrong has he done? I mean, you are trying to put a precedent that you want to do the same to the other people who will come in.
Right. All right, Mr. Chaturvedi, we'll have to leave it there. Many thanks for joining us for that big breaking story. We take a very